One second. Good evening, everyone. I hope everyone is able to hear me and everyone is able to see my screen. If possible, can someone please confirm if you're able to hear me clearly and able to see my screen?
Yes, sir.
Yes, yes.
Right. So, yesterday what we discussed is, we discussed about data binding, the concept. Okay. What is data binding, guys? Data binding is nothing but communication between TypeScript as well as HTML. That is called as a data binding. Communication between TypeScript and HTML, that is called as a data binding. And this can be achieved using 4 types here: string interpolation, property binding, as well as event binding, and two-way data binding. Whereas string interpolation, property binding, and event binding is one way, and two-way data binding is in two way. Either if you change in HTML, it will update in TypeScript. If you change in TypeScript, update in HTML. Okay. So the first flavor is where we discussed about displaying the data into HTML by retrieving the data from TypeScript file. That is called as a string interpolation. We can use TypeScript variable or a TypeScript member function inside HTML, and we can go with this guys. Okay. So what we have done yesterday code is, okay, where we added some data members, username, first name, last name, and email, and we assigned in the constructor, and through getters we were able to get the value, and that is what 2 flower brackets we were able to indicate. So in string interpolation, we can write data member as well as member function. Both the things we can include here, either data member or a member function. We can use both the things at a point of time. Okay. So this is what I mentioned in yesterday's class. Today I'll proceed further on this. Okay. Today I'm going to proceed further on this, guys. Now, what I want to do is, okay, before I proceed further, any questions from anyone so far? Yeah. One point I want to update, sir. Somehow I need to upload the code and running notes for yesterday's class, guys. I need to upload to Ashok IT portal rather than Google Classroom. I need to upload to Ashok IT portal. Somehow today evening only I got the credentials. Okay. Today, end of the day, I will upload, sir. Today, end of the day, I will upload. Okay. Yesterday's code I have not shared, guys. I thought of sharing to Google Classroom, but again, it will be a mix of the things, right? Now, you are joining from the Ashok IT portal. You will see from Ashok IT portal the notes and everything. So in one place, we want to have a unified flow. So today I'll upload the code of yesterday's class as well as today's class. Okay.
Sir,
Right,
notes
guys.
also you will upload in Ashok IT portal.
Everything in the Ashok IT portal, sir.
Yeah, okay.
Notes, code, PPTs, anything if I have. Whatever from my side, everything is in Ashok IT portal. Okay. But Google Classroom, sir, if I want to send any communication, if at all class is there or I not there, any kind of communication, or else I shared the code, but you are stuck somewhere else, and you can put it's a communication. Google Classroom is only for communication, offline communication, nothing official on this, because it will automatically trigger an email, and everyone can, for example, if one person, he wrote the code and is stuck somewhere else, so even I can help or anyone can help. It's a collaborating platform, which is a Google Classroom. It is not having any information, only communication. Okay. Right. Now what I'm going to write is, I'm going to write a date variable, sir. Now I'm going to take a date variable here. date string, which is of type string, is equal to empty. Okay. Within the constructor, this dot date string is equal to, I want to print the date, guys. How to print the date over here? Let current date is equal to new date. Like in Java, Java.util.date. In TypeScript, we have date directly. So this dot date string is equal to current date dot to date string, which is giving a date, plus there is a space, plus current date dot to local time string. Current date dot to date string plus current date dot to local time string. Okay. Now, Krishna Sai, please go on mute. Mr. Krishna Sai. Mr. Krishna Sai, I'm talking. People are not listening. Yeah, thank you. Right. Now, I'm going to, let me comment this. Why we need this? I'm already done that, right? Let me comment this. H2. Today's date is, how to print that? Date string, right? Yes or no, guys? Yes or no? Now, let me run the code. Sir, everyone is clear? I captured the date over here. I calculated the date. I printed in my format. Now, localhost colon 4200, Wednesday, August 28th, 2024, 8:10:08 p.m. Perfectly printed, right? Whenever I refresh, it is increasing time, right? Whenever I refresh, it is taking at the time, whatever the time is there, it is capturing. Am I right? 10:41, 8:10:41, 8:10:46, 8:10:49. Whenever I refresh the page, it is getting the latest value. Yes or no, guys? So, what I am trying to say is, sir, if the TypeScript value is changed, right? Automatically updated to HTML. Whatever the variable I captured here, right, guys? Whatever the value I captured over here, right? If there is any change here, it will be captured automatically, right? That's what you saw, right? I am refreshing now. This value is changed now. I was able to display that. Okay. Now, what I am trying to say is, but only this code is executing only once. Whenever I refresh the page, that time this code is executed, then it is calculating latest value, right? But if I want to know the latest time, I always need to refresh. If I want to know the latest time, I want a refresh here. But if cricket match is there, sir, I am displaying the cricket score on my dashboard. If you want latest score, are you going to refresh the page? No, right? It should
No.
be typically somehow auto. What auto is going to do? A simple things, guys. Nothing, they'll not do anything here. Simply, in JavaScript, I have a function which is set interval. Set interval. Okay. Anonymous function, which we discussed, right, guys? Anonymous function. Now, what I am doing is this particular code. I want to 1000 milliseconds. Whatever I write this code in set interval function, anonymous function. I have an anonymous function in set interval. Whatever the code I write inside anonymous function, for every 1000 milliseconds, it is going to calculate. 1000 milliseconds means 1 second. What I'm doing here, this date value will changes. In the background, this code will be executed for every, this function will be automatically called in the background for every 1 second. This is a timeline, 1000 milliseconds. Set interval is the function which I am writing here. Now I saved here. Sir, I'm not doing any refresh, right, sir? Am I doing any refresh? So what is happening client side? You see client side rendering. By default, local time is calculated for every 1 second and it is updated. It is not reloading the page. You're able to see that, guys? A powerful nature of Angular. A small example, you are able to see that in real time. If you want, if you have a data that may change stock price, it's a stock market, stock price will change, right? For every second or for every some time, right? It is going to change, right? Or else, whenever you deposit, whenever you withdraw, that time the account balance will change, right? So set interval is a function which is very useful in JavaScript. It will re-evaluate or it calls the same function for every 1000 milliseconds. It's going to call the function for every 1000 milliseconds. It is going to call that. Now you're able to see that, guys, everyone? Same like cricket score also will be updated like this. What the code will be, they write? They will make a REST call or whatever it may be here to get the latest from the backend. They'll make a REST call here or a web service call here that will get the latest cricket score, and I'll give a gap of 2 minutes, right? Maybe one ball, how much time it takes, I'll estimate that. For every 2 minutes or for every 1 minute, whatever, I don't know. And we'll make a call and the score will be updated and the score I'll display here. You understand, guys? Set interval function is, everyone is clear? Right. So this is a concept where we have, you gain rain. We don't have any shortcuts, sir, to get a getters and setters. Okay. My request to everyone, guys, if you have a question, right, Maybe you can put in the chat window, sir. I can see, but not immediately I can see, sir. I'll see it whenever I get a time, I'll see, but definitely I'll answer. Okay. If you are expecting immediate response, you can speak at any time, at any point of time, you can speak, guys. You can interrupt me at any point of time, but it's not mandated that you don't type anything in the chat window. You can type, but I'll see at some time when I'm teaching, right? It will take some time to see that. I'll reply to you. Okay, right here. No. Now, next point is, so this is what string interpolation where we are going to do. Next one is what I'm going to do is, next flavor is what? Property binding. The next flavor is what? A property binding over here. So, what is the property binding over here? Is if we want to control HTML properties through TypeScript business logic. If you want to control HTML properties through TypeScript business logic, then we can use property binding. If you want to control HTML properties, guys, what is the HTML properties? I'll explain that. String interpolation is, I have the data in TypeScript. I want to display the data into HTML. That's string interpolation. But whereas property binding is, I have some HTML controls and I want to control those HTML properties through TypeScript business logic. Then we can use typically property binding over here. Sir, what is that actually? Is we can enclose the HTML property with the TypeScript variable. We can enclose HTML property with TypeScript variable, and we can control the HTML property through TS variable. HTML property, TypeScript variable. Best example is, sir, I have a button, sir. I have a button. Whether this button should be enabled or button should be disabled, I want to control from business logic. I have a button. Whether this button should be enabled or this button should be disabled, that I want to control through TypeScript. Sir, where will use here? Where is this particular scenario will be useful? Tomorrow, I am introducing a flash sale. A flash sale I'm introducing. That sale will start. Okay, why like that? Maybe everyone knows this, guys. TTD website.
Yes, sir.
TTD. Tirumala Lord Venkatesh Swami.
Yes. Yes, sir.
Balaji. Right? Every month they will release the tickets, right? Every month at some time they will release the tickets. Tomorrow at 10 a.m. quota will be opened. You can book the tickets at the same, please log in at the same time and book the tickets, right? So the book button will be enabled only 10 o'clock is reached. The book button will be enabled only when the 10 o'clock is reached. The button will be, what happens here at a TTD website? In a TTD website, what exactly is going to happen? Exactly at same 10 o'clock. When TTD server is 10 o'clock is reached, then the button will be enabled. So who will decide the button should be enabled or button should be disabled? My TTD server will decide. My TTD server will decide. Am I right? Am I right, guys? So what I'm going to do here, disabled is a property, is equal to control flag or else TS variable. Disabled is a property of HTML, guys. TypeScript variable is business logic variable. Understand? Disabled is HTML property. If button is disabled is equal to true, it will be disabled. If disabled is equal to false, it will be enabled. So disabled is the flag, either enabled or disabled. It will be having this kind of feature. Okay. If you want to control the HTML properties through TypeScript business logic, we can use property binding. We can enclose the HTML property with TypeScript variable. I can enclose with the TypeScript variable and we can control the property through TypeScript variable. So button disabled is equal to TypeScript variable over here. Understand? Sir, everyone is clear? On a theory point of view, property binding is everyone is clear?
Sir, one point, sir. One clarification, sir.
Yes.
Yeah. Sir, actually, the DOM concept is right in JavaScript. So instead of DOM directly, I think adding our TS code in the HTML, so we are using the binding concept, right, in TS.
Exactly.
Exactly. So this is
Correct.
the DOM in the TS, right?
No. DOM will update the data to TypeScript will update the data to DOM.
Okay. So
It's a
the
client
TypeScript
side.
will compile and the JS
Let me explain.
update.
I already told, but let me re-explain. Okay.
Okay.
Whenever main.js is delivered to browser, right, sir?
Yes, sir.
Main.js will be executed at client side.
Client side.
Main.js is going to prepare a DOM.
Okay. Okay.
Main.js is going to prepare a DOM body tag.
Okay.
App root is a body tag, right? That's what we saw that, right?
Yes. Yes.
Entire body tag will be formed at client side.
Client side. Okay.
How it is formed? I have HTML, I have a TypeScript, I have a CSS. These three will be merged to main.ts, main.js, and main.js will be executed. So that body tag will be formed here. So what I can say that DOM will be formed at client side.
Okay. Okay, sir.
Now, in this kind of position, at HTML side, I write this code. Disabled is equal to TS variable. When main.js is executed, if that time TS variable is true or that time TS variable will be false, based on that button will be enabled or disabled.
Okay.
Understand?
Okay. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Not clear. Thank
It's
you.
a very good question. Yes. Right. Now I'll write a code over here, guys. Can we write a code over here? Right, sir. Now, let me go to HTML. So what I'm going to do is, let me take a text box. Input type is equal to text. Placeholder is equal to enter course name. Or else let me write upwards. Now I don't require here. I am taking a button because you'll confuse actually. Button ID is equal to btn ID, where disabled is the property. I'm creating a flag. Control flag is a TypeScript variable. Check class status. Check class status. Input type is equal to text. Placeholder, course name. This is what I write here. And I'm creating a control flag, which is Boolean is equal to false. Which is equal to control flag, which is equal to false. And what I am going to do here, I am going to, in the same set interval, I will change here, guys. For every second, this dot control flag is equal to, I'll change. Sometime I will make it enable, sometimes I'll make it disable. Just like I'll play with that button. Just like I want to show you. Math dot random. It gives a random number. If it gives greater than 0.5, true. Else, false. Maybe this I need to write here inside that. So what I'm doing, sir? I am changing conditionally. Sometimes true, sometimes false. Just I want to play, guys. Nothing else here. Sometimes you'll see button will be enabled. Sometimes you'll see button will be disabled. Whenever a random number is generated, if the generated random number is more than 0.5, it will be true. Otherwise, 0.5 is false. Okay. Now you see here, guys. Maybe you can't see like that. Maybe 5,000. I'll take it. Why like this? It is shaking. For every 5 seconds, it will change, right? Control flag. Has got random, which is equal to true, or else false. Somehow I want to check Angular. For every 5 seconds. Somehow, guys. Because I changed 5 seconds, but it is not impacted over here. It changed immediately, right? Set interval. It should change this. So why it is not It should take for every 5 seconds. Why it is taking for every 1 second? It should change the data for every 5 seconds. Why it is set interval? Okay, maybe I need to write here, not here. Right. Now you saw, guys, button is disabled, sir. After 5 seconds. Why it's taking this much time? Again, it is refreshing. No. Here only we'll write, not there. I'm writing set interval. Some small mistake I'm doing. Let current date is dot date string. I'm doing this. I will write here only. Today's date is after 5 seconds. Yeah, now nothing. You see after 5 seconds? Yeah, I don't know what is the problem here. What did happen? I changed this. Now you see, guys, by default after 5 seconds, now button is disabled, right? Now, whenever after 5 seconds, it will recalculate. Now it is enabled, right? Again, it's disabled, right? Sir, I'm not doing any change here. Sometimes it is enabled, sometimes it's disabled. You saw that, guys? Intentionally, I wrote a code like this, guys. Okay, 5 seconds. I don't know what is the code. Just like I wrote a code here, I wrote there, but it's worked. I mean, the only point here, it is not refreshed properly. Okay. So for every 5 seconds, it is calculating the button status. Now it is enabled. Now again it is enabled. Now it is disabled. Sir, without doing any change, you saw that, right? Button status is enabled, button status is disabled, right? Button status is enabled and button status is getting disabled, right? So this is typically on this guy. So far clear, guys? So this is called as property binding here, where I'm binding a disabled flag in the square bracket. This is called as square bracket. Property binding in the square bracket. String interpolation is curly braces or flower bracket, whatever. But property binding is square bracket. We need to write property binding in square bracket, and string interpolation is in curly braces or flower bracket. Okay, where we are going to get this, and Sir, everyone is clear, sir? Property binding is clear, everyone? One of the example I told. Right. What I'm going to do, sir?
Sir, the bottom one is the property one and the top one is the string binding, right, sir?
This is property binding.
Right, sir. Yeah.
What is you told?
Yeah. The bottom one is the property binding.
This is
in the
property
square
binding, sir.
bracket. Right, sir. Yeah,
Whichever what I write in the square bracket, that is called as a property binding.
Right,
String
sir.
interpolation is curly braces.
Yep.
It will not do anything here. Blindly, I'll display the data to HTML. I'm going to display the data to HTML blindly. That's it. It does not have any logic.
Hmm.
Okay.
Right, sir.
By default, property binding is to any HTML term. If I want to control the property, HTML property through TypeScript variable, then I'll use property binding. Okay. So that's what I told, right?
Yeah.
String interpolation, property data. TypeScript will change as HTML. I have the data in TypeScript, that will be changed to HTML. Both string interpolation as well as property data, right? I have the data in TypeScript, I'll apply in HTML. Or I have a TypeScript variable that apply in HTML, it can change the property also. So string interpolation as well as property binding is mainly useful for output the data. Outputting the data. Outputting the data means I have a data in TypeScript. I want to output it to HTML. That is called as string interpolation and property binding. Now, event binding. Third one is event binding. This is from HTML to TypeScript. Event binding is from HTML to TypeScript, guys. Means if I click something, something should happen. If I click something, I want some code in TypeScript, it should be executed. If I click something, or if I change something, if I do something on the front end, event, that is called as the event binding. Okay? Event binding is typically from HTML to TypeScript. That I'm going to write here. Event binding, which is equal to, if you want to invoke any business logic functionality from HTML page to HTML page with an event, then we can achieve this through event binding concept. We can enclose the event. We can enclose the event name in what we call this, guys? Normal brackets, right, guys? What we can call this one? What we can call this, guys? This is called as a curly braces or a flower bracket. This is called as square bracket. Okay. Someone is telling angle bracket. Okay. We'll go with angle brackets or normal brackets. Okay. We can enclose the event name in this one. For example, the code is same button. I can write click event. I can write click event is equal to invoke TypeScript a value button click event invoke TypeScript with a value. Here click is an event and it will call invoke TS function. Whenever the button is clicked, it will call the invoke TS function. That is called as event binding here. Now we'll write the code over here in the same way. Okay. Sir, what I want is, I will take the value from the text box and I want to select this value. I will write here, click event. I'm going to write a click event over here, which is equal to update course. This is what I'm going to click. Update course. Something like I'm going to take here, which I want to collect the value of a text box value. So whatever the value I enter in text box, hash my input. Whatever I write here, it will be saved in hash my input. My input dot value I'm going to pass here. My input dot value I'm going to pass over here. And I will write class status is equal to class status, something like that. So what I'm going to do here, I will introduce a new flag, class status, which is of type string is equal to something. And I will write update course, a function. Which is returning a string. Okay. I mean, it doesn't return anything. It will take string, sorry. It will take a string, course name, which is string. This dot class status is equal to course name plus class is started. That's it. So what is the code I wrote here? By default, this button will be sometimes disabled, sometimes enabled. Whenever it is enabled, I'm taking the value from text box and I'll pass this value to here. So typically, I'm refreshing the page here. Now I'm taking Angular is the course. Whenever I click it, Angular class is started. You saw that, guys? I'm collecting a value. I'm taking React, but button is disabled now. I need to wait till button is enabled. Now you saw React class is started. Now you saw event binding is happening over here. What is the event binding? Whenever you are clicking something, you want to invoke a TypeScript function. A click, a TypeScript function I want to invoke. This is event binding. Whenever a button is clicked, I am invoking a TypeScript function and I'm passing a value, just like this text box value. Hash is a temporary memory variable on the DOM side. Hash is a temporary variable. My input is some, any name you can give, sir. Any name you can give here. Hash my input and update course my input dot value. So this is the thing over here, guys. Okay. Sir, so far clear, guys? Everyone is clear? What we discussed so far, guys? String interpolation we discussed. Property binding we discussed. Event binding we discussed. All these three are one way, either from TypeScript to HTML or from HTML to TypeScript. String interpolation and property binding from TypeScript to HTML. And HTML to TypeScript, event binding. So my intention was all these three, property binding, event binding, string interpolation, all are one way only. All three are one way, either from TypeScript to HTML or from HTML to TypeScript. Okay. But I have one more thing is two-way data binding, guys. I'm having a two-way data binding over here, which I'm going to write that. Okay. Now, I'm going to write one more code here. Input type is equal to text. Placeholder. Enter guest name. Okay. And I'm writing ng model. Square bracket. And someone we call some brackets. I forgot the name here. Angular bracket. Okay. Angular bracket. Ng model is equal to guest name. Ng model is equal to guest name. Entered guest name is guest name. And I'm taking a variable here. Guest name is equal to of type of string is equal to Vijay Kumar. Okay. Now, what I'm trying to say here, ng model, this is two-way data binding. Please bind the text box with the value which is guest name. With the value with the guest name. Where guest name is what? A TypeScript variable. Okay. And I want to print here. By default, two-way data binding always comes in a forms module. You need to import a forms module, guys. Two-way data binding is a property of a forms. You need to import forms module. Right? Now, sir, you saw already entered guest name is Vijay Kumar. You're able to see that? Why I am able to see that? I binded text box value. Guest name. Yes or no, guys? Now I am changing, sir. Whenever I am changing, where I am changing, sir? HTML side I am changing. But it is impacting in TypeScript, right?
Yes, sir.
So, first when his page is loaded, TypeScript value assigned to here. When a page is loaded, TypeScript value assigned to here. When I am doing a change here, whenever I change from HTML, it is updating to TypeScript also. So this is called as two-way data binding. HTML to TypeScript as well as TypeScript to HTML. Yesterday someone asked, sir, it's only always one way, right, sir? What is the purpose of using two-way? Do you have a real requirement with two-way, guys? Anyway, one way is either we'll change the data from HTML or we'll change the data in TypeScript. But can we change the data in two ways? Anyone can think of? Simple, sir. Tatkal ticket booking. Tatkal ticket booking, sir. I have total tickets are 100. Total ticket count is 100. Right? In the front end also I'll see 100. Whenever I clicked book and browser one, I clicked book. Ticket booked successfully. Now my count will become 99, right? Other browsers should see that, right? A change can happen from TypeScript. At the same time, change can happen in HTML, right? Were you able to correlate? So two-way data binding is also a lot of cases useful. A change can happen on HTML side or a change can happen on a TypeScript side. Any of the thing is possible, sir. A change can happen on HTML side or a change can happen on a TypeScript side. That is called as a two-way data binding, where two-way data binding is typically having, you need to import a forms module, guys. Because the definition of two-way data binding is available in forms module. This is called as a two-way data binding. Okay. So let me write over here, guys. If we have a scenario where data can be changed at both places, that is either TS to HTML or from HTML to TS, then we can go with two-way binding. It can be declared as TS variable. This is the syntax. Sorry, ng model is equal to TS variable. This is called as two-way data binding. This is available in forms module and we need to import this in import section of import section. This is what we need to import. Okay. So what I'm going to do is I'll upload this ashokit.com. I need to log in. Somehow I missed the credentials, guys. 1 second, guys. 1 second. Somewhere else I have credentials.
I think is this one old website.
No, sir. It's correct only. Now I need to upload the notes. Angular data binding. So training Angular Ashok IT. So here the problem is, sir, I'm zipping the SRC folder, sir. Okay. In the SRC folder, I'm sharing this running notes, sir, because I can only share a zip file here. Data binding. Sir, everyone is able to see that, guys? Then can you? Yeah, you're able to see data binding, and you can download here.
Sir, if possible, can you upload that PowerPoint also, sir, the one you're showing?
I'll upload that, sir. It's only a screen, sir. It's only one screen. I'll upload it. Okay.
Yeah, because that will be very useful to quickly refer the concepts, sir, rather than going through all the videos, all the notes and
Why
everything.
it is
here and
sharing
there.
a zip file like this? 1324. Okay. As long as you're able to see. Okay. Data binding this also. But the same topic I cannot upload actually. Again, this is going off. Same topic I cannot upload here. Again, I need to create one more topic. Okay, fine. I'll upload that PPT. Fine. Thanks everyone for today. We'll meet tomorrow.
Excuse me, sir.
Yes.
But sir, we also have new website, sir, ashokit.in.
This is what ashokit.in.
Yes, sir, .in.
We'll see that.
No, sir, it.in. Not
Okay.
tech.
Okay. ashokit. Ashokit. Is this new website? Okay. Oh,
This one is the new website.
okay. I need to upload over here.
Yeah.
Sorry, someone is telling, but I ignore that. I'm really sorry. Now, Angular, upload notes. Data binding.
Sir, I have posted my doubt long ago in chat box, sir. I think you haven't saw that.
Yeah. Okay. We don't have an access to upload the video, sir. Now, can you see here? Now you're able to see that, right? In the new website. Can you see that note?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, sir. Fine. We'll meet tomorrow. Thanks, everyone. Have a great day. Thank you.